Joining us here today on News 10 is Mayor Duke Bennon. Here we're talking about the eye on Terre Haute. The first thing we like to touch on is sewer bills. I know a lot of people have been kind of confused with that. Kind of break it down for us, maybe re-explain it so people can understand.
Okay. Earlier last year, Indian American Water told us that they were no longer going to bill sewage bills. So all municipalities that use them to do their billing kind of went into quick mode of finding a new vendor. And so it took us several months, obviously, to put it out to bid and select a vendor who can handle 30,000 bills a month. That really kind of eliminates a lot of those potential vendors. And so finally got that all done, and in December the conversion began in order to send bills out in January. And the plan was originally to have the bills out by the middle of January, but it ended up being more towards the end. Everybody should have a bill now except for Sealyville water customers in the city, and maybe by today they should have gotten their bill. Sometime this week they were to go out. And if there's any issues with that bill, there's an 800 number that you can call, or you in the phone book look up Sewage Billing Department for the city, and we can help you with that. The billing is from December, so it's basically the last bill that Indian American Water billed was for November. This first bill that we sent out is for December. And a lot of the questions we've had is, why did you make the change? And why is the bill going to Oklahoma? Before the bill went to Illinois, now it's going to Oklahoma. They process them for us. And it's just a 1 month bill. So I think once we get through this first billing cycle, everything will be fine. It's just the newness of it. The timing was off a little bit. I think
people might notice on their water bill too that, we talked about that it's lower now. That's because you no longer have that sewer bill attached to it.
When I think some people didn't realize that it was embedded in there. And so yes, absolutely, your water bill should be coming down, about that amount that you're being charged. And if it's not, then obviously you need to contact Indian American Water, but I'm certain they're not billing it anymore. So your bill has come down, and you'll get the new bill. So if you add them both together, it's what you were paying before. There's no increase.
Okay, and then what we also want to touch on is the 2012-2013 budget. People have had a few questions. How are we set up to kind of go into this year, this 2013 year? How are we looking?
Well, it's been an uphill battle for the last few years. 2011 was kind of where we hit the bottom of the barrel with the property tax caps. That was our toughest year. And so in 2012, we've made some progress against that. We ended 2011 with a $4.5 million deficit. We don't have all the financial things done for 12 quite yet, but we know it's going to be closer to $2 million. So we've made about a $2.5 million positive gain on that. This year, our budget has a little bit of a deficit in it, but we have some plans in place to be able to address that. The goal was to break even or have a balanced budget in 12 and 13, but the council decided not to transfer $2 million that we'd asked to move over from an account we have. And since they didn't do that in December, we'll have to deal with that this year. So we're making progress, but we still have challenges ahead. And I think the biggest thing that's hit us is the assessed values going down. So just when we had everything worked out, all of a sudden we have a new thing to deal with. And so, in a few months I'll have a better handle on that, but we still have some, budget constraints going on with our general fund. The rest of the city's doing fine. It's just our one big fund.
Gotcha. And then the last thing we wanted to check on was the Crow Committee. I know I still hear them. I still see the crows. And what's the latest going on with them? Well,
we're still working it. What's kind of happened this winter, at the beginning of the season, if you will, in November, we had fewer crows than we had last year. But over the course of the winter, we've had several others join the flock. And it's just a continuous battle. We've still made tremendous progress, but we have pockets where they are still at that we don't want them. We need more volunteers. That's the bottom line. If we could get a few more people out there and close those gaps where they come into the city, that's the difference maker.
Now, if people would like to help out, how do they do that?
Well, you can just call my office. We have a Crow hotline too, but just call my office and leave a message with your phone number. We'll call you and we'll get you hooked up.
Now, do they do this every night? Is there a certain day a week?
No, every night. Soon as right before dark, they gather about a half an hour before dark, get their materials out, get their places they're going, and they go out and do it for about an hour every single evening.
Now, is there any websites that can look up any information, or should they just call your office?
It's better just to call us, because then we'll talk with them and make sure, because they don't have to work every night. They can just come once if they want, or come a couple of times. So we'll work with them. So somebody will contact them from the committee, and they'll explain it all to them and find out what they want to do.
Now, are there any specific areas that you guys want to target on or focus on that I guess that still need that extra attention?
Well, there's a few areas near downtown that we're having a smaller, it's not nearly as bad as it used to be, but we still have problems. And so a few more volunteers it's really amazing to watch them come in and they find the gaps. And so we need to fill in the gaps, and we'll keep them out in the county.
All right, sounds good. Well, thank you so much for joining us here on Eye on Terre